What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and welcome to another rendition of Just My Opinion podcast. Rate, comment, subscribe. Get this YouTube channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. The comment section is your domain, so comment among yourselves. Get the conversation active. You had me? Now, without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Stephen A. Smith and JJ Redick are no strangers to one another. These guys have intense debates. Sometimes it gets very heated, very emotional. And sometimes it gets very one-sided and narrow-minded. Either from JJ Redick's perspective or Stephen A. Smith's perspective. But they debated a couple of days ago on First Take about a topic, and it made its rounds, particularly on social media, particularly what Stephen A. Smith said. That was the headline of the header. And Stephen A. Smith has reached the conclusion that maybe maybe Kawhi Leonard should retire from basketball due to him not being available for the Los Angeles Clippers. He done had multiple upon multiple injuries. He's been in and out of the lineup, and when the Clippers needed him the most, he's never available. And this is the conclusion Stephen A. Smith went with. Now, to me personally, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and people reach their conclusion of their opinion in multiple facets. Some people just, it just comes straight from the dome. Other people do research, and other people may do research and probably interview other people that are familiar about the subject. And Stephen A. Smith has connection in these NBA streets. Well, that didn't set well with JJ Redick. JJ Redick just ran right in, tried to vocally argue against Stephen A. Smith's opinion. And like I said, Stephen A. Smith is entitled to his opinion. JJ Redick is entitled to his opinion, but I thought it got kind of chippy between the both of them, which JJ Redick pretty much started. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say Stephen A. Smith started it because it was his opinion. And I understand the magnitude of Stephen A. Smith. I know there's a lot of people out there that hate Stephen A. Smith just because he's Stephen A. Smith. People take things personal about what Stephen A. Smith says. And that's fine. But sometimes we as the media and we as people need to separate the art from the artist. And just because you have a grief or a beef with Stephen A. Smith, don't, compound his debate and say, well, I don't like Stephen A. Smith, and I'm not even going to think about what he said. I just don't like what he says. I think that's narrow-minded. I think a lot of people have blinders on their eyes as well as in their minds. And just because you hate someone, sometimes someone that you don't like or you have a disdain for, they may have an opinion that you can, at the end of the day, you can say, I can agree to disagree, or, I don't like this individual, but he may have a valid point to his opinion. But basically, Stephen A. Smith got on national TV, First Take, and said Kawhi Leonard needs to retire. And he made several references on why he should retire. And JJ Redick did not like it. JJ Redick got very chippy, got very personal. Talked about, well, you guys don't understand. When he says you guys, the media. Really it was Stephen A. Smith. I think he was very personal and very passionate about what Stephen A. Smith says. I don't think these two guys really like each other. Now on the set, it may appear to be that they may appear to be friends. They may appear to respect one another. I don't think Stephen A. Smith respects JJ Redick, and I don't think JJ Redick really respects Stephen A. Smith. And you can tell by his argument against what Stephen A. Smith said about Kawhi Leonard. He attacked Stephen A. Smith personally, talked about, you never been on this level. You don't understand the magnitude of this level. You don't understand the mental hurdles an athlete has to go through. You don't understand the training rehab and all of that. You just never been on this level. And when he said that, me personally, I thought everything else he says after that, I'm gonna fall on deaf ears. But I still listen to the rest of his opinion and the rest of his argument. But when he said that, I think JJ Redick has selective amnesia, because when LeBron James was, vocal about politics, a lot of media members, more notably at Fox News, basically said LeBron James just need to shut up and dribble. Like, LeBron James shouldn't have an opinion in politics. He should just be a basketball player, because that's his expertise. That's his X's and O's, all right? That's where he's more smart at, trying to box him in as a dumb athlete. And when JJ Redick said that about Stephen A. Smith, I started saying to myself, well, wait a minute. Just because someone hasn't played professional basketball at this level does not necessarily mean that they don't have the right to an opinion, that they can, that they don't have knowledge in this particular sport just because they were not a professional athlete. Well, JJ Redick doesn't understand that there have been a lot of coaches, very successful coaches in all the professional leagues that haven't played a lick of high school football, who wasn't a star or a collegiate star on the college level, or has never played basketball or football on a professional level, or even baseball. And they were very successful as coaches, as owners, as general managers, as agents. So I felt like when JJ Redick went straight to that analogy, it's kind of sort of fell on deaf ears. And to me, I thought he was being very chippy and very personal to Stephen A. Smith, basically saying and alluding to that Stephen A. Smith doesn't have a right to talk about whether or not an athlete should hang it up, or, talk about what's going on in the NBA, because he hasn't played at this level. Now, everything after that, what JJ Redick said, was on par. I co-signed to everything what JJ Redick said after that. And that got Stephen A. Smith to rebuttal. And Stephen A. Smith said, well, wait a minute, just because we haven't played on this level doesn't mean that we don't have the expertise to talk about this level. And then JJ Redick, tried to chime in real fast when he was allowed to speak his mind and speak his opinion. He wanted to interrupt Stephen A. Smith rebuttal and basically said, and tried to paraphrase, well, you can talk about certain things, but you can't talk about everything surrounding the National Basketball Association. Particularly on an athletic level, because you haven't been on that side yet. And to me, we need to stop putting labels on people. There have been a lot of successful media members that were very successful, that has inside tracks, inside knowledge of the goings on in the locker room, in the press box, as well as at the owner table and in the GM offices. And that should contribute, and that we should respect that. Just because someone didn't play on a collegiate level or on a professional level does not necessarily mean that that media personality should not talk about certain things that goes on in professional sports, and vice versa to professional athletes. I feel like professional athletes should be allowed to talk about other things besides the game itself. I think there's a lot of professional athletes in the NFL, the NBA, as well as Major League Baseball, that has expertise in other areas, in other facets, that can talk outside the game, outside the lines, that has expertise in X's and O's, that could be when their career is done as a player, may want to go into the coaching rank, okay? May want to be maybe in the GM or in the offices, and yes, be an owner. So if it works for the players, it should work for the media personality. And I thought that JJ Redick was very harsh, very opinionated, and he took what Stephen A. Smith said about Kawhi Leonard very personal, very emotional. And like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And just because you have an opinion doesn't necessarily mean that you're right all the time or you're wrong all the time. It is your opinion. And this is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has been in this game for a long, long time. Has connections in all facets, on all levels of sports entertainment and sports media. So he's entitled to his opinion. But one of the check marks JJ Redick talked about is, well, if you think Kawhi Leonard should retire because of his availability, then how come you don't have that same energy for Zion Williams and Kevin Durant? And the guys over there at NBA Radio pretty much agreed and co-signed to that. And they added more info on, and tried to substitute what Stephen A. Smith was saying is false about Kawhi Leonard. I look at it like this. I feel like all three of those players are in different situations in their careers. Some of them are at the end of their career. Some of them are, somewhere in the mid section of their career. And some of them just now started. They haven't even gotten to their prime yet of their career. So that's one thing. So they all can't be the same. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, and Zion Williams, other than them being black and being injured all the time, that's where they all connect. But everything else is totally different. It is totally different. These are three different stories. When you look at Kevin Durant, yes, there was, particularly with the Brooklyn Nets, he was not available for the Brooklyn Nets. When he got traded to the Phoenix Suns, he wasn't available all the time for the Phoenix Suns. But you do have to realize and you do have to understand that Kevin Durant is, somewhere in the midsection of his career, can play and be honest with you, can play for a longer period of time. I can see Kevin Durant playing past his 40s, still playing and contributing to a team on the highest level of the NBA, because even though his body will age and his athleticism will go away, he still has a brilliant mind and still it will be able to shoot the lights out of the ball. So I feel like Kevin Durant could, I believe Kevin Durant is 34. I believe I can see Kevin Durant playing, if he wants to, in his 40s. That's not far away, folks. When you look at Kawhi Leonard, on the other hand, Kawhi Leonard had injuries are very, very serious with Kawhi Leonard, particularly in his knee. And he had these injuries and these surgeries even when he was with the Toronto Raptors and the San Antonio Spurs. I don't think he's injury prone. I just think, everybody's body is made differently. There's ligaments in your body that are very frail, very thin, and could keep you injured more times than not. And I feel like Kawhi Leonard is that type of individual. He's going to always have nagging injuries. He's going to always miss games, and he's going to be in and out of the surgery room. And if it's okay for the team, if it's okay with the Los Angeles Clippers, if Jerry West is okay with it, if the coaching staff is okay with it, if Steve Ballmer is okay with it, he will remain a Clipper, until he's done playing basketball. But with great risk comes the reward, the possibility of somehow, some way putting it together, and maybe one of these seasons he can get the Clippers to the NBA Finals and hopefully win a title. Now, the odds of them winning a title is very small, but they still have good odds to make it to the NBA title. Anything can happen in the playoffs. And when you look at Zion Williams hasn't even scratched the potential of him. He's still young. I feel like with his injuries is due to his weight and his play style. And he's going to have to do one or two things: either lose the weight or change his play style, become more of a spot up shooter. He does that. He does somehow have a little bit of that ability. With time and patience and going into the gym, he can. That's just another tool in the tool shed he can use, and he's going to have to understand that, you're going to have to prepare for life after your athleticism. He heavily depends on it now because he's young, but at the same time, he's going to have to figure it out, stay healthy, and either do one or two things: lose weight or change the way how he plays, be less athletic, less explosive, and who knows, he could probably play in this league for a while. He's going to have to play like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley in his early years, he was very explosive, and when he got heavy, he stopped being explosive. And when he started training and eating right, once again, he utilized the other tools in his tool shed other than his athleticism, particularly when his athleticism left him. So that's what Zion Williams is going to have to do if he wants to maintain a career in the NBA. So I feel like all three of these guys, yes, you can say they were injured. I agree with you. Yes, you can say they missed multiple games. I can agree with you. Yes, you can say all three of these guys are African American. I can agree with you. But when you sit up there and say they're in the same circumstances, no, I can't co-sign with that. But JJ Redick and Stephen A. Smith are going to always have these chippy battles. I don't think either one of them respect one another. I don't think they're friends on the set or off the set. And that's fine if they're not friends. That's, nobody's not knocking them because they can't be cordial or respectful. But a lot of that has to do with Stephen A. Smith is an old school, an old head, and JJ Redick is part of this new media. I feel like the new media is ultra sensitive. They, instead of trying to, when you're in the media of whatever generation you came from, it is your responsibility, and it should be applied to your due diligence to make the era that you came from, why that era was good, what made it great. It's your responsibility to highlight the players that people done forgot about. It's your responsibility to keep applying pressure to people, to the non-believers out there that think that LeBron James is not the GOAT, without bashing the other eras of the NBA. I think you should. I feel like Draymond Green, JJ Redick, I forgot Jefferson. I forgot his first name. I feel like a lot of these guys, even Kendrick Perkins to a certain extent, to promote the era that they come from, it's almost like they have to denounce the other eras instead of showing love to the other eras, but still promoting your era without attacking the other eras or the other players. And that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of people, even people in their generation or the younger generation, still believe to this day that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, than LeBron James. And to me, I feel like that it's like apples and oranges. These guys are two different players. They came from two different eras. They have two different styles. To me personally, I just don't think that you can say, without a shadow of a doubt, LeBron James was better than Michael Jordan, or Michael Jordan was better than LeBron James. I feel like if you swap these guys and you put LeBron James in Michael Jordan era, you put Michael Jordan in LeBron James era, these two guys will still be successful. But I'm just not on that comparison tip. Who's the GOAT, LeBron James or Michael Jeffrey Jordan? I feel like both of these guys are GOATs. But if I had to pick one over the other, yes, I'm going to pick Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan's impact and Michael Jordan, as far as his career, is still flawless. That's going to be a hard hill for LeBron James to overcome at the end of the day. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. LeBron James has done a lot. I feel like some of the LeBron James achievements really don't measure up to Michael Jordan if you're trying to compare the two. And like I said, I hate doing the comparison thing because it's apples to oranges. I feel like the LeBron James impact off the court was way better than Michael Jordan's. I think LeBron James player empowerment is getting the players to run the NBA. The players' impact with teams. I think LeBron James started that. The individual stats and achievements that LeBron James has already cultivated is amazing, remarkable. But if you look at Michael Jordan, and the one thing they say about LeBron James is he's more of a team player. And I do agree with people. I think LeBron James is a better team player than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. However, he's not an more accomplished team player than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Because at the end of the day, Michael Jeffrey Jordan took his team to 6 NBA titles. Back to back, missed a couple of years, retirement, came back, and won it back to back again. And that's something that is not, I just think that's where the rubber meets the road with LeBron James as far as him trying to overtake Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I think the longevity of LeBron James should be saluted. It would not surprise me if LeBron James play another 5 years at some level. But it would not surprise me him playing alongside his sons. And it would not surprise me on that either. But at the end of the day, if he plays for another 5 years, he's still not going to get any closer to overtaking and overshadowing Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But like I said, these are apples and oranges. I hate to get into these discussions. But so that's all I got with this. I know this is an extremely long video. If you made it to this point, I really do appreciate it. If you really did make it to this point, to the point of this video, rate, comment, subscribe, support your boy, hit the subscription button and notification bell, share this content with your friends, family, and followers. I will see you guys on the next video. Going to do another live stream sometime next week. Be on the lookout for that. Too early for this podcast. On my other channel, I'm Chris Down 1, will premiere bright and early on Saturday. Be on the lookout for that. Be there or be square. Okay. I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.